Got a look at some of the matchups here today that we'll be seeing. Starting off in the 125-pound belt between Moran and Corday. Moving throughout, got plenty of matchups to keep your eyes on. The Indiana Hoosiers. A lot of numbers next to those names, Eric.
Yeah, and one match in particular outside of the one that we already talked about at 197. And this is coming from Coach Hoosiers is going to be at 174 with 26th-ranked Derek Gilcher, who is from Michigan, coincidentally, taking on Cesar Garza for the Michigan State Spartans. Derek Gilcher, of course, coming from the perennial powerhouse in Detroit Catholic Central.
Mentioned Gilcher, he's coming off of a ranked victory over Brody Bauman of Purdue, the Boilermakers.
And I should say right now that we did just say Corday's going at. Did you really feel that this team bought in, and when did you feel that they flipped from where they were prior to that? And he said it was really the Midlands, and in particular in the semifinals, where we were underranked and we ended up picking up wins that we weren't expected to. So what that did was that allowed guys to buy in. Once you finally start to see the fruits of your labor paying off, then you get buy-in from one guy, two guys, three guys, and then it trickled down, and now you're starting to feel that this team stacks up. And he said, you know what, to me, it is, we have a competitive environment where you don't come to Indiana thinking you're going to start. You have to actually work to earn that starting spot, and that has been different from the past. When he came in, it was just guys coming in and having that expectation that they're going to be the starter. Now you have multiple guys at weight competing for one spot, and it's raising the level of this Indiana program.
It's the old iron sharpens iron type of thinking.
The two legs of Jacob Moran, and there's going to be two, and he's going to roll through. And now he's looking for a possible fall by Caleb Whean, and this is what we talked about. The start is so important for these Michigan State Spartans. Look at the crowd to your right.
They're loving it right now. This is Whean's first time facing off against Indiana. It's giving the crowd a show at the moment.
I will say this is a long match. We're still in the first period. You look at Caleb Whean's eyes in particular. Caleb Whean to do was find himself, recollect himself after picking up that big 7-point move.
Gets a chance to reset now. And you've got a special view of this bout, especially as you wrestle at 125 yourself, I believe, Eric.
Yeah, I did, and it's one of the things that I pride myself in doing was starting the duel off on the right foot for the team because it is so important. It's a cut just on the upper headgear line of Caleb Whean on his right side. And the trainer, Brett, just went over there and shoved it directly into the cut, and Whean winced a little bit in pain.
It's just got to get through 2 more minutes against Jacob Moran.
Right.
Moran wants more than a stall call. Ends up getting the 3 points, taking the lead.
Right on the out-of-bounds line.
Got exactly 28.7 seconds remaining in this bout.
But Whean's back to the center first. And that says a lot. It's all about optics. Might not be pretty, but he got the W, and that's all that matters.
Yes, they did. Now, moving on to Andy Hampton versus Angelo Rini. 133 pounds. For Andy Hampton, he started off 2-2 in duels, 5-8 overall. On the other side, Rini, the graduate.
Might not be pretty, but he got the W, and that's all that matters.
Yes, they did. Now, moving on to Andy Hampton versus Angelo Rini. 133 pounds. For Andy Hampton, he started off 2-2 in duels, 5-8 overall. On the other side, Rini, the graduate.
You're seeing that here again with a second double leg takedown. So he's a guy who sneaky at the end of the season. One of those guys that you don't want to see come the end of the year.
Building up on the riding time, passing 30 seconds now. You mentioned the 2 takedowns A's had. He's doing much more than just competing at the moment. And for Rini, he's got some success to look back to, bouncing back after that loss against Illinois that you mentioned, picking up the. He'll get the stall call that he was waiting for. Now they'll reset.
Oh, Hampton did a good job of blocking off on that right side, kept that elbow close to his right hip as he could. Came up, and Angelo Rini tried throwing a headlock from left field.
When you look at the Buffalo match, for Andy Hampton, the third period was really where he got alive. He had 2 near falls, and that'll be enough to pick up some extra points with the tech fall.
45 points in the last 2 matches for Angelo Rini.
A hot streak, as hot as you're going to see. Angelo Rini, 2 tech falls in a row in the Big Ten. Last one coming against Dustin Norris of Purdue. This one coming against Andy Hampton of Michigan State.
Big Ten Wrestling is back here at Jennison Fieldhouse, where Michigan State is facing off against Indiana University. It's a hectic night here in East Lansing with the number 2 ranked hockey team facing off against Minnesota right next door. Indiana's going to be a tough opponent for the Spartans to beat, with 7 of their starters being ranked nationally. On the other hand, though, Michigan State is coming off of a fresh win against Buffalo, so they're looking to use that momentum to carry them into tonight's game. It's been a super interesting one so far. It's nice and warm.
Those guys being in that room at the American Kickboxing Academy, a.k.a. with Daniel Cormier, as he gets to a deep double. And now Jaden Crumpler with his feet on the out-of-bounds line, and that's the easiest stall call that we're going to see all night. But it's smart. You either give up the 7 for the throw and the back points, or you give up the stall call, so smart for Crumpler.
And you got to play smart when you're wrestling against someone at the caliber of Porter. He's coming off of a 6-3 decision.
7, which is a manageable weight cut tomorrow to get back. So third period is going to be critical, not only for the Michigan State Spartans, but also for the Indiana Hoosiers, because they travel to Ann Arbor on Sunday as well.
Both teams facing off in ranked matches this weekend on Sunday. For Indiana, going to Ann Arbor, as you mentioned, to face off against Michigan. And for the Spartans, facing off against the number 7th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And Crumpler's already been hit for stall. Extremely different from when you were at a lower weight class. So giving him that year to really build in, you're starting to see that 28 next to his name is showing they did the right thing in sitting him out last year.
Give him enough time to get used to that weight, as you mentioned. You can see it on display here. Liking the energy from Crumpler, I have to say.
And this is a potential for a... That's going to be a stall call. No stall call.
Four-point differential between these two. Porter starting on the bottom.
Crumpler rides the half. Yeah, he has to think big here. Roll through half would do it.
Now we'll be moving on to the 149-pound division. Aiden Torres, the redshirt freshman from Chesterton, Indiana, will be facing off against Clayton Jones III, the redshirt freshman from Belleville, Michigan.